Everyone, how are we all doing today? Trust we are all good. Okay, so I've actually been away from this platform for a very long time, and I'm happy to be with you guys once again. Okay, so if you are new to my channel, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Adumike Linda, and I'm a fashion designer based in Lagos. So the name of my brand is Linex Patterns. Yeah. So today, I really want to teach you guys how to draft a basic skirt pattern. As simple as it may sound, there are still people who don't know how to sew a skirt. Okay? When you look at the back of the skirt, sometimes the zip part bulges out. It has this swelling effect. But today with my skirt pattern that I'll be teaching you people, you will be able to make a better and a nicer skirt if properly implemented. Once you pay attention to the class today and you implement it properly when sewing, I promise you that your skirt will come out better and it will come out nicer. So please, if you watch my video to the end today, I beg you, subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Okay, then if you find my class interesting, please give me a thumbs up. It goes a long way to encourage us. Give me a thumbs up. Comment, tell me how well I did in the comment section, and also ask questions. In case you're wondering, how do I sew this dress after learning the pattern drafting, ask me questions in the comment section so I'll know that you are really interested in learning more. Okay, and I will explain as soon as possible. Also share. Okay, I will appreciate that a lot. It takes us a lot to put these videos together, so please, when you watch it to the end, try to like it, try to comment, try to subscribe, most importantly. Okay, so thank you very much. I will appreciate you all to remain viewing this broadcast of mine, as I'll be putting you through the class now. So join me in the class now. Okay, thank you very much. So guys, let's get started. So this is my pattern paper. So first of all, we are going to look at the length of the skirt, and I'm going to use the entire length of this pattern paper as my skirt length. So this is 24. So I'm taking 24 as my skirt length. So the next thing we should do now is to mark out the hip line. Already, the beginning of this pattern paper is the waistline. Okay? So the next thing we have to look at now is our hip line. Our hip line. Okay, let me explain this. If you're going to add a waistband and you want your skirt to be exactly length 24, that means we are going to remove the 2 inches and mark your 24. But let's say, for instance, you want your skirt to be 26 inches. Then already this is 24. You leave it as it is, 24. Then when you add your 2 inches band, it becomes 26 inches. Okay? So now let's just make do with 24 inches as our skirt length. So the next thing we should look at now is our hip line. Already the beginning of this paper is our waistline. So the hip line now, normally the hip line is usually 22 to 24 cm. Cm is the back of your tape. So it's usually 22 to 24 cm from your waistline. But if you want to look at it by inches, that means you can make do with 9 inches. So whoever it is, once you use 9 inches from the waistline, it will give you the appropriate hip line of that person. So I am going to mark 9 inches from this waistline all through. So this is my 9 inches. So you now connect it together. After marking your 9 inches all through, you mark a straight line and connect the points together. Okay, this is your hip line. You label it as hip line, and this is your waistline. So the next thing you should do on the waistline on the waistline is to take in your waist measurement. I'm going with this measurement. I'm going with my measurement. My waist measurement is 29. Look at where I'm writing it, the parameters. My waist measurement is 29. Okay. My hip measurement is 38, right? Then, yeah, my waist measurement is 29. My hip measurement is 38. So this is what I'm using for now. And my full length that I'm using for the sake of this class is what? Is 24, because we are using a pattern paper. Is 24. So this is the measurement I'm using. Now on your waistline, you are going to divide 29, which is my waist circumference, by 4. And you don't need to use calculator. You can actually use your tape to make your divisions. So you take it this way. This is 29 inches. So once you get to 29, you will fold it again because it's divided by 4. Whatever you get is the result. So what I have here is 7.3. I have 7.3. But you can make it 7.5 anyways, but I'm using 7.3. Just divide your waist circumference by 4. What you have, you mark. And what I have here is 7.3. Now, after marking your 7.3, you don't want to sew a skirt without allowance, okay? Sometimes you can actually just mark the normal answers you've gotten, but sometimes we forget to add our allowance, so it's safer you add it on the paper so you can just cut. So what I'm using as my allowance, since it's a skirt, I'm just using 1.5. So you add your 1.5 inches allowance. Then you now go to your hip line. This is my hip line. You will measure what your hip is. You put the measurement there. So your hip circumference is 38. Now 38 divided by 4. You go again with your tape. 38 divided by 4. This is 38. This is how to divide with tape. You just fold it and take it to 38. Then you fold it again to get the final answer. So my 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. You can check your calculator. It's 9.5. So you place 9.5 there, and you still add your 1.5 allowance. Now, to avoid all these pointy effects, sometimes after sewing, you see that there is a pointy effect on the hip line. The hip is not well curved. What you do is you come down on the hip line by 1.5. That is what I do. Just use your ruler and make a straight line there. So what you do now is the same measurement you have here. You put it on that line that you came down by 1.5. And what I have here plus the allowance is 11. Okay, so I'll come down to that my 1.5 line and mark the same words, 11. So I'll curve it well. So now on the full length line, which is the hem line, what you are going to calculate there is your hip circumference divided by 4 minus 1.5. That is the measurement that will be taken on the hem line, which is the full length line. Okay, so already our hip 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So what you do now is to mark that 9.5. This is my 9.5. Haven't marked this 9.5 minus 1.5. That means from that 9.5 you come in by 1.5. So this is your actual hemline measurement. But since we added 1.5 allowance, you still add it back. So when you add it back, it takes you back to that what? 11. The essence of going in by 1.5 is to have a pencil-like effect at the hemline, okay? So now I've already marked my waist measurement, my hip measurement, and my full length measurement. That's my hem measurement. What you're going to do now is to connect. Now from my waist to my hip, this is the curve I used to connect because I don't want any funny look. So this is how I place it. I place it this way. Can you see? You position it until it gives you what you want. So this is it. And what I'm going to do now is to connect. You connect it well low so that you see what you've connected. So this is it. Then having done this, you take your ruler and connect from that your hip measurement to your hem measurement. So this is it. The front block is done. But before you say goodbye to this front block, there is something we usually do here at the waist, at the center front of the waistline. The essence we do this is to avoid any excess rumpling in front of your skirt. So what we do is that we come down by 1 inch, or you can do 3/4 inch. Let me just do 3/4. Then you connect from the end of your waistline to that 3/4. This to avoid any nonsense gaping or funny folding look here. So this is what you do. You remove it, then you attach your band. So basically, this is it. This is our skirt pattern. So what we have here is, this is our center front, our waistline, our hip line, and our hem line. You put in your waist measurement plus 1.5, your hip measurement plus 1.5. You come down by 1.5 so that you won't have a pointy effect here. So it will blend well. And finally, your hem line measurements, okay? So you come in by 1.5 from the hip measurements. And you still add back that 1.5 for allowance. Then when you are done, you come down by 3/4 at the center front of the waistline to avoid any folding here, okay? So this is it. That is all about our skirt pattern. There is no need of knee measurement because this is a short skirt. But if it is a long skirt, that's when you need your knee length line and all that. So basically, this is all for a basic short skirt. So now let's get to the back of it. So if you want to cut out what we've drafted so far, this is how to cut it. You start from your hemline and cut it like so. You carefully cut it. So you simply cut it out the way I am doing. So that's it for the side. Then you go down to the waist that we came down by 3/4 and also trim off. So this is it for our skirt pattern. But please remember, whenever you want to cut on a fabric, this is just a paper I'm using for illustration. If you want to cut this out on a fabric, your fabric has to be on fold so that when you open up, it will be a full skirt, right? And please remember to add the allowance for folding for your hem, okay? Your 2 inches folding allowance for the hem. For hemming it, your 2 inches allowance for hemming the down part. And also remember to add 1/2 inch so that when you get your band, you use that 1/2 inch to attach the band to the skirt, okay? You add 1/2 inch to your band and you add 1/2 inch to the skirt here so that you use to join it together, right? So let's get to the back pattern, to the back block. So guys, now I want to draft my back block, my back pattern, the back of the skirt. So what I do for the back is that I first mark my 1.5 inch. Okay, now before the 1.5 inch zipper allowance. What I'm going to do is to place the front block on the back block pattern. I'll give it a lot of space here for whatever drum I want to do on the zipper side, okay? So now, having placed it, the next thing I'm going to do now is to look out for my hip line. Now this is my hip line. I'll just extend it out to appear on the back block. So this is it. Now, to avoid all those too much of tightness at the back or unnecessary bulging, there's a type of dart I take at my back. So what I do now is on the hip line, I come out by 3/4. If it's a very, very fat person, you can do 1 inch. But for my size, 3/4 is okay. So this is 3/4. 3/4 is 2 lines after 1/2 inch. So when I've done it now, I use this my curve. After bringing out 3/4, I use this my curve to connect from the waistline. From the waistline to that word, to the 3/4. So I connect it like so. Now after connecting it, I take it down to the hemline. Yes, you can decide to take it down. Okay, so after connecting the 3/4 to your waistline for the back, what you're going to do is to connect back to the knee line. I was actually saying there's no need for knee line, but now I need my knee line. Normally, from my normal short skirt length, my knee line is 20. So I'll just look at that 20. I'll mark it. So this 3/4 downwards now. Can you see what I'm doing? Downwards now, I still connect it to that my knee line, which is 20. Okay, so this is it. Automatically, the new curve I created on the back line, hope you can see it clearly, is now my center front for the back. Now from this curve I've drawn now, I can take my zipper allowance, okay? So my zipper allowance, watch it as I mark. From this curve I created now, I'll mark my zipper allowance. I want to use 1.5 as my zipper allowance because of all the turning up with lining and all that. So I'll mark 1.5 all through. 1.5 all through. All through. From beginning to the end. Please, if this video is interesting, start liking, start commenting, start asking your questions. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you. So you mark it down. You mark it to the hemline all the way down. So having done that, you will connect it. Okay, for this one now, use the curve because it's not a straight line. Okay, so you just connect it like this. You can now decide to use the ruler for the remaining connection. Okay, just connect carefully. No bulge at all. So having connected, so once you've connected it now, your back pattern is ready. All you need to do now, since you've already placed the front on the back, you just cut out. The side is now the same thing. You just pick your scissors and you trace out to the side because it's automatically is the same measurement. So you trace it out the way I am doing carefully. This is already shifting. Please control yours very, very well so that it won't shift and give you something funny after sewing. So you cut it out the way I'm doing. Now I would advise you use sellotape or pin to hold your papers together so that while cutting it wouldn't what? It wouldn't shift. Okay, now usually for those who want to add that to their skirt, I actually forgot that. But what you are going to do now, if you want to add that to your skirt, is on the waistline of the back. I actually forgot and now I've cut out, but just look at it. On the waistline of the back, you come out by 1 inch here. Can you see it? You come out by 1 inch here. Okay? And you mark it. Once you've marked it, you just use your ruler or your curve. Place it like this. And connect it. Please, if you have questions regarding this I'm doing now, just ask me in the comment question. I actually forgot to do this one, but this is how to do it. So this allowance now will be for your dart for the back, because there's no dart at the front. As such, it's important to put that at the back. That is very, very important. So this now is your dart allowance, right? So guys, you will now come here. Remember, we've not cut out what we had here. This is your front, right, placed on the back. So remember that we've not cut out this side. So at your center front for the back, come and trim off the excess here. After that, your 1.5 that you marked down. Trim off the excess. Trim it off. So this will help the back to lay well. So as you can see, this is what the back skirt looks like. The back block looks like. Okay, can you see it well from the camera? Okay, sorry I cut this out. It's not meant to be cut out. I actually forgot, but I had to do it later. So remember to do yours. Okay, so this is what the back block looks like. As you can see, the curve here where the zip is will give your skirt enough balancing to avoid all those bulging and unnecessary tightness. Okay, so this is it. Now remember that some people, because it's a pencil skirt, there will surely be an opening at the back. Now for those who don't know how to do their opening, what you do is that wherever the length of the skirt stops, if the skirt stops at the knee, then you know you can only go up by 4 inches and open. Because if you do more than 4 inches, it might be too open and your client may begin to complain that this thing is showing my nakedness, so it's too open. Except for people that want it to open more, then you just do it. You put all that into consideration when taking measurements. So when you've already cut it out, remember when you are cutting this, your fabric has to be on fold. So at the center front of your back, you come up by 4 inches for the slit. When you've done that, you will, okay, remember that you came in by 1.5. Make sure that your 1.5 line is there. Okay, draw it out clearly. So what you are going to do now is, I've drawn mine out, is to cut out from that 4 inches, to cut it out. But you don't cut it out completely because you are going to sew with lining. So in here, you come in by quarter, so that this quarter will be used for turn up at that opening side. Let the quarter stop at that 4 inch line. So you connect that quarter from the 4 inch above down to the hem. Okay, the way I'm doing. So what you are going to do now is to cut out here. So now that's all for our back block skirt. And when you hem, after hemming, okay, the thing is that we've not even added the allowance. So when you add the allowance, you can hem, okay? It's fine. So that is that for our back block. Like I said, if this opening is too small for you, you can still go up. But make sure you don't go too up and it becomes too exposing for your client, okay? Put that into consideration when measuring, all right? So finally, this is our front black of our pencil, of our basic skirt pattern, our short skirt pattern. And this is the what? The back block, all right? So if you enjoyed the class today, please give me a thumbs up. It's very, very important. Comments. Give me comments in the comment section. Let me know if you enjoyed the class. If you have any question, ask me in the comment section. If you want to know how this is sewn, also ask me in the comment question. I will reply. I will respond as soon as possible. Then please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe so that it will encourage me to do well. Please go to the subscription button and subscribe so that whenever I upload new videos, you'll be the first to be notified, okay? So thank you very much for today's class. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Invite your friends to come in and subscribe so they will learn how to draft numerous patterns, okay? So thank you very much for today. I love you all so much. Bye now. Mwah.